The cosmos had known silence for centuries, long, uninterrupted stillness that wrapped itself around the edges of forgotten galaxies. That silence shattered when the prison star Zarnax 9 imploded. It was not an explosion born of science or natural entropy. It was wrath, ancient, unrelenting, and vengeful. Mangog had awakened. The chains forged in Odin's blood, once unbreakable, lay twisted like reeds. The gods had grown complacent. Asgard slumbered under a veil of uneasy peace. But in the dark, far from the 9 realms, Mangog stirred, and with him rose the hatred of a billion souls, extinct but not forgotten. He emerged from the rubble of the collapsed prison, dragging the weight of dimension's fury in every step. No war cry, no warning, only the sound of his movement, like mountains tearing through steel. His eyes molten suns, his breath thunder wrapped in sorrow. Planets tilted in orbit, moons cracked. Hate had formed and it was moving. Meanwhile, Earth was burning, quietly internally. In the Nevada desert, Red Hulk stood beneath the bleeding dusk. Heat shimmered around him, pulsing like a forge. He hadn't spoken in days. Not since the last mission, not since the brief, brutal conflict with Hyperion left half of Arizona cratered. Thaddeus Ross had long buried the man he was. Only the beast remained. He felt the pulse before the data reached the monitors. The atmosphere shivered. Satellites blacked out. His gut twisted, a primal instinct sharpened by decades of war. Something old was coming. Not alien, not terrestrial. Older. The sky cracked open with a single strike, lightning spewing sideways like arterial blood from the heavens. A ripple of cosmic pressure slammed into the earth like a tidal wave, flattening deserts, snapping power grids, silencing birds mid-flight. Out of the celestial wound came Mangog. He dropped like judgment, slamming into a dry canyon, carving a trench miles long. The dust hadn't even settled before his roar drowned the wind. The animals fled. Machines died. Insects burrowed deeper. The earth recognized him. Its core vibrated with primal memory. Gods once fought him. Cities once burned for him. Red Hulk moved, not toward the threat, but through it. He burst across the desert like a nuclear detonation with legs. His body shimmered with absorbed heat, each footfall cracking rock, boiling sand beneath. The temperature followed him, spiraling upward with every step. He reached the canyon, stood on its rim. Below, Mangog turned, unhurried. There was no fear, just awareness. Red Hulk leapt. No words, just violence. The two collided like dying stars. The impact flipped tectonic plates. A shockwave decimated 100 square miles, setting the sky ablaze. The ground evaporated under them. Mangog met the punch without flinching. His arms, thick as warships, caught Red Hulk's strike and redirected it into the earth. Hulk flipped midair, using momentum to drive both fists into Mangog's back. It was like punching an iceberg filled with fire. The beast snarled, backhanding Red Hulk across the canyon, collapsing cliffs like cardboard. Hulk grunted, skidding across rock and ash. He didn't bleed. He didn't scream. He stood. Steam poured off his body. He absorbed more. Solar radiation, ambient heat. Even the residual gamma energy left by his own path of destruction. The angrier he became, the hotter he burned. Mangog advanced unconcerned. He swung his chain fist, still trailing fragments of Odin's prison. The links tore through the air, embedding into mountainsides, shearing through ancient stone. Red Hulk ducked, closed the distance, and jammed his knee into Mangog's abdomen. Nothing, not even a grunt. Mangog didn't feel pain. He was pain. He grabbed Hulk by the throat and slammed him into the earth with a force that shattered the fault line. Lava erupted. The crust split. The air screamed. Red Hulk roared, his body radiating blinding crimson. He grabbed Mangog's wrist and absorbed, tried to pull whatever source of energy drove the beast. But it wasn't fire. It wasn't radiation. It was hate, raw, intangible, living rage. It burned him back. For the first time in years, Red Hulk felt a different kind of heat, one that scalded his mind. He staggered, confusion breaking through the fury. Mangog seized a moment, dragging Roke across the land like a rag doll, carving a new scar into the planet. Then he threw him. Red Hulk flew across the skyline like a meteor, crashing through a mountain, tearing through solid granite, and tumbling into a basin filled with superheated mud. He rose, broken ribs realigned, bones cracked back into place. But his eyes had changed. This wasn't another villain. This was something older than war itself. He charged again. Mangog met him mid-run. Their fists collided and the land beneath gave way. They fell into darkness underground, where magma veins pulsed like arteries. Roke erupted with fury, his heat reaching critical. The chamber ignited into a blinding inferno. Mangog didn't stop. They wrestled in the fire, gods and monsters of different bloodlines. One a general consumed by vengeance, the other a beast sculpted from divine genocide. The planet howled, the skies darkened, and still they fought. But somewhere, far above them, Heimdall watched from the remnants of Bifrost. His hand trembled, his voice whispered through unseen channels. The cage is broken, the curse walks again. Odin was dead, Thor was away. Earth had no gods left to spare. All it had was Red Hulk, and he was already burning. The cavern had collapsed. Smoke churned up from the Earth's wound, black and furious, reaching for the stars. Boiling magma hissed beneath jagged stone, as if the world itself cried out. Above the ruins, silence reigned, but only for a moment. Then came the sound. Not footsteps, drums. Each thud of Mangog's march echoed with the weight of hatred. He rose from the shattered underground chamber, dragging Red Hulk's limp form behind him. The beast was charred, molten wounds across his red skin, his breath shallow, but still defiant. Mangog paused atop a crag. In his grip, Red Hulk dangled like a broken banner in the wind. The skies, once burning orange, were now stormlit and trembling. Lightning flashed behind the horned giant, outlining his grotesque form like the silhouette of vengeance. Red Hulk stirred, his fist ignited. He drove it into Mangog's face. The strike cracked cliff, sent rock flying. Mangog staggered a step, but only a step. His grin widened, grotesque and unnatural. Roke lunged with everything left. His skin blazed, flesh seared, energy bleeding from him like a dying sun. He pummeled Mangog with the fury of a collapsing star. Blow after blow, he raged against inevitability, refusing to kneel. He launched Mangog backward, through a rock shelf, into a lake of bubbling acid rain formed by their war. For a second, silence. Then Mangog rose, unburned, unmoved, unforgiving. Red Hulk hesitated, his power nearly depleted, his body a battlefield of trauma. He had fought gods, crushed titans, but this wasn't something that could be beaten. Mangog was not a warrior. He was a sentence, a punishment. The beast charged. Red Hulk raised his arms to block, but was too slow. The first punch shattered his forearm. The second broke his jaw. The third sent him through 3 miles of terrain, smashing through plateaus like they were paper. He landed in a ruined facility once used by S.H.I.E.L.D., now reduced to twisted metal and dust. Blood, dark and glowing, pooled around him. He tried to rise. Mangog arrived in a blur of rage. He grabbed Roke by the skull and slammed him through steel beams, through reinforced bunkers, through ancient, abandoned vaults until they hit bedrock. Then he lifted him high into the air, above the ruins, above the fires, above the final gasps of a dying battleground. And he roared, not in victory, but in mourning, in rage, a sound that cracked the ozone and sent debris into orbit. He brought Red Hulk down, spine first, into the earth with such force that the land split open, ripping through states, awakening dormant faults. A chasm swallowed the battlefield. Red Hulk did not rise. He twitched, tried to lift a finger, but even rage could not save him now. His heat flickered, his form faded, his power drained. Even his breath felt foreign. Mangog stood over him. No words, only judgment. He raised his foot, the size of a truck, and brought it down. The ground cratered. The Red Hulk vanished beneath stone and fury. Only a red mist remained in the air, sizzling with dying radiation. His final heartbeat echoed once, then silence. Above them, the clouds parted. Stars stared down, indifferent. Mangog turned his head toward the light. A new challenger had come, but Red Hulk was no more.